Imagine waking up every single morning feeling like you were hit by a freight train, reaching immediately for that first piping hot cup of coffee to force your eyes open. You believe you are waking yourself up, but in reality, you are launching a devastating biological attack on your adrenals. When you first wake up, your body is already in the middle of a natural, highly coordinated hormonal surge, dumping cortisol into your bloodstream to naturally elevate your heart rate and alert state. By drinking coffee within the first hour of waking, you disrupt this natural cortisol curve, training your brain to stop producing its own morning wake-up chemicals. This creates a vicious cycle of dependency, where you need more and more caffeine just to reach a baseline level of alertness, all while driving chronic inflammation and metabolic fatigue. Today, we are decoding the exact science behind the coffee delay protocol, and how a simple 90-minute rule will permanently restore your natural biological energy cycles and optimize your performance for the entire day ahead without the dreaded mid-afternoon energy collapse. The human body operates on a strict circadian rhythm, and the first key player in your morning transition is cortisol. Under normal conditions, your cortisol levels should peak roughly 45 minutes after you open your eyes, providing a natural, clean energy boost without any external stimulants. When you introduce caffeine during this peak window, the adenosine receptors in your brain are artificially blocked, preventing your body from processing the natural signal of wakefulness. The result is a double whammy of biological confusion. Your adrenal glands are forced to oversecrete stress hormones, while your cells become increasingly desensitized to their own signals. Over weeks and months, this constant chemical disruption leads to chronic afternoon crashes, sleep fragmentation, and elevated baseline stress. By simply waiting 90 minutes before having your first cup of coffee, you allow your body's natural waking mechanism to complete its job, ensuring sustained focus that lasts long into the late afternoon without the typical crash associated with standard morning habits. This is the foundation of long-term biological energy management for busy professionals and high performers alike. When we map the cortisol awakening response, we see a clear spike that initiates around dawn. If you look at this data progression, you notice the red line representing early caffeine intake intersects with the natural cortisol peak, creating a massive spike in systemic anxiety. This intersection is exactly where the jittery feeling originates. By pushing the intake to the 90-minute mark, the blue line shows the caffeine entering the system only after the cortisol levels have begun their natural decline. This transition is smooth, efficient, and prevents the overactivation of the sympathetic nervous system. Strategic timing allows for a sustained energy plateau, rather than a jagged mountain range of highs and lows that keep your body in a state of high alert stress. Science confirms that when the body is not fighting itself, you recover faster, think clearer, and maintain a consistent flow state throughout the workday, which is the ultimate goal of biohacking your metabolism for daily efficiency. Transitioning to a 90-minute caffeine delay is not just about avoiding the crash. It is about reclaiming your baseline biology. The first and most significant benefit is the stabilization of your cortisol levels, which directly translates to less daily anxiety and improved mood regulation. You will notice that your heart rate remains steady even during high-pressure work tasks, as your body isn't fighting the chemical noise of excess caffeine on top of an already active adrenal morning. Second, you allow your natural adenosine clearance to occur, which is the primary driver of sleepiness. By allowing this process to happen naturally, you prevent the morning brain fog that most people spend their entire day trying to caffeinate their way out of. Lastly, you improve your nighttime sleep quality. Because you are not bombarding your receptors with caffeine during the critical waking hour, your body is much more efficient at clearing those same receptors before bedtime, setting you up for deeper, more restorative REM cycles that are essential for long-term health and cellular repair. To truly master this hack, we must understand adenosine. Adenosine is the byproduct of ATP, or cellular energy usage. As you use energy throughout the day, adenosine accumulates in your brain, essentially acting as a sleep pressure molecule. When you wake up in the morning, your brain is still clearing out the remaining adenosine from the previous night's sleep. This is why you feel that initial fog. Caffeine is a competitive antagonist to adenosine. It mimics the molecule and physically occupies the receptors, tricking your brain into thinking it is not tired. However, the adenosine is still there, it just can't signal its presence. By delaying coffee, you allow your brain to finish its natural clearing process. You are letting the system reset before adding the chemical blocker. If you drink coffee while the system is still dumping adenosine, you create a massive backlog that eventually hits you all at once as soon as the caffeine wears off. This is the physiological cause of the caffeine crash that ruins your productivity. So, how do you integrate this into a busy life? It is easier than you think. Start by keeping a glass of water on your nightstand. Upon waking, drink 12 to 16 ounces of filtered water with a pinch of sea salt for electrolyte balance. This serves two purposes. It rehydrates your cells immediately after a long night of water loss, and it provides a ritualistic substitute for the coffee cup. Spend those 90 minutes doing your morning routine, whether that is sunlight exposure to set your circadian rhythm, a quick stretching sequence to move your lymphatics, or simply engaging in high-focus tasks that require mental clarity. You will likely find that your energy naturally picks up as your cortisol rises, making the coffee not a necessity for survival, but a choice for enhancement. This shifts your relationship with caffeine from an addictive crutch to a conscious performance tool. Once you hit the 90-minute mark, your body is ready, your brain is clear, and that first cup will provide a significantly cleaner, more sustained lift without the jitters. To implement this effectively, we need a concrete structure. Your morning protocol should look like this. Start at 0 minutes with your hydration. This is crucial for metabolic function. Move to 15 minutes for light movement or sunlight exposure. Both trigger the cortisol surge required to wake up your organs and brain. At 45 minutes, your body is naturally moving through its peak alert phase. Utilize this for deep, complex tasks. Your cognitive performance will be at its highest point here because of the natural hormonal alignment. Finally, at the 90-minute mark, your adenosine levels have dropped enough that you can safely introduce caffeine to sustain this peak state. This is the performance loop, used by top-tier athletes and CEOs to maximize cognitive output throughout the day. By following this schedule, you are essentially biohacking your own chemistry to stay in the flow zone longer than anyone else. This is how you shift from reactive living to proactive high-performance management. Understanding your circadian rhythm is essential for why this works. Your body is built to anticipate the coming day. When you hit your eyes with sunlight within 20 minutes of waking, you are sending a signal to your hypothalamus to begin the countdown for melatonin release in the evening, exactly 16 hours later. This is the master clock mechanism. If you interrupt this signaling with caffeine immediately, you are sending conflicting messages to your brain. You are telling it that it is time to wake up, while simultaneously stressing the adrenal glands, effectively creating a chemical alarm that interferes with the rhythm. By delaying caffeine, you allow the sunlight signaling to take precedence, which solidifies your circadian baseline. This is the secret to falling asleep faster at night. The body that wakes up correctly also settles down correctly. It is a closed-loop system, and when you optimize the start of the loop, the entire day's performance, including your evening sleep and recovery, falls into place with remarkable precision and consistency. You might wonder how quickly you will feel the difference. Most people notice a shift in their energy stability within just 3 to 5 days of consistent adherence. The afternoon energy slump that plagues most people after lunch begins to vanish because you have not been overtaxing your adrenals in the morning. Your body isn't playing catch-up anymore. You will also notice a significant improvement in your mood. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and by minimizing its excessive secretion through unnecessary caffeine interference, you create a more balanced emotional baseline. You become less reactive to stressors, more focused on your tasks, and more physically resilient. This is the compound interest of biohacking. These small, daily adjustments in your morning routine lead to massive changes in your long-term health metrics. You are effectively retraining your nervous system to operate at a higher, more sustainable level of efficiency, which is the cornerstone of a healthy, productive life that sustains itself without the need for constant chemical corrections. Are you ready to take back your energy? The 90-minute rule is the single most effective intervention for anybody struggling with morning fatigue, anxiety, or the mid-afternoon crash. It costs nothing, requires no expensive supplements, and relies purely on your own biology. Challenge yourself to implement this for 1 week. Put your coffee pot on a timer, drink your water, soak in the sunlight, and see for yourself how much better your brain operates when it is not being forced into overdrive. If you found this micro-health hack useful, hit the subscribe button for daily, science-backed optimizations for your body and mind. We are dedicated to stripping away the complexity of health and giving you the actionable tools you need to perform at your absolute peak. Remember, your biology is designed to support you, not fight you. Give your body the space it needs to function naturally, and it will reward you with consistent, clean energy that carries you through every challenge. See you in the next episode for your next biological upgrade.